Sports City, chefs, Sports City, chefs. Yeah, Cavi, Taj.
Yes. The Finger Foods is back with the villain, the super villain himself, Barry Jordan, here at Sports City Chefs, exclusively on our YouTube channel. This is the Finger Foods. As always, please get to the website and also comment, like, subscribe if you like what you hear, and you'll get more of what we are serving for you for these finger foods, the lunch break, and the poo-poo platter itself. So the Giants had a bye this week. Going into their bye week, coming off a win at home against the Las Vegas Raiders, sitting at 3-6, and surprisingly still in the playoff hunt. I don't know how to feel about that. The New York Giants are my team, and I would love for them to be considered a playoff team. But also, selfishly, it's also a good thing that they're not a playoff team, because then we can clean house, get rid of Dave Gettleman and blow this thing up yet again for it feels like the third time in the last 5 years. But here we are, coming in out of the bye week with a big matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which we'll get into in a little bit. Looking back at the Giants, it's been a lot of up and down. They started the year 1-5. But have kind of righted the storm a little bit. Won two of their last three. Probably should have won that Monday night matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs, but here we are, and the Giants are 3-6. Not a great team, not a terrible team, but it is what it is. You look at some of the games that the Giants have lost this year: against Washington, 30-29, against the Falcons, 17-14. Just those two losses would have had them at 5-4. I don't think the Giants would have competed against the Cowboys and the Rams. But, those two games were heartbreakers, last-minute field goals to lose those games, one at home, one on the road, on a Thursday night game. We're talking about the Giants a little bit differently right now. Beating the Chiefs, also talking about the Giants a little differently. But those aren't wins. We didn't win those games. So here we are. Offensively, the New York Giants are kind of what they are, a mixed bag. Better than last year, but not by much. All the offensive improvements that they made in the offseason by bringing in Kenny Galladay, drafting Kadarius Toney, bringing back Evan Ingram, picking up the tight end Kyle Rudolph really hasn't done much to help this team. It still starts with the offensive line. And that's where a lot of the problems lie. I mean, listen, Andrew Thomas has made leaps and bounds in his second year, and is proving that he is a capable starter in this league, and a pretty darn good one, if you ask me. But, the offensive line starts and ends with him. Losing their offensive captain, one of them in Nick Gates, was a huge blow early in the season, losing him to a horrific leg injury. They really haven't been able to solidify that left guard position. Will Hernandez moved from left guard to right guard. Has played pretty well, has graded fairly well, has struggled a little bit, but he's the only lineman that's been in the lineup every day. That's the kind of consistency or inconsistency that this offensive line has had. Nate Soldier has been a meme for all year, getting pushed around. Mike Pert, looked good at right tackle, is struggling at left tackle, and the offense is clearly struggling because of it. Daniel Jones, his numbers are a little bit better than last year. I think he's had some ball security issues, but interceptions-wise, he's tied for ninth lowest with 5. I mean, but only 8 touchdowns. I mean, that's at the bottom half of the league. 2,059 yards passing, bottom half, bottom realm of the league. Better than what it was last year, but this offense is just struggling to get going. A lot of that goes with injuries, not having Saquon Barkley for a month, Kenny Galladay as well, Kadarius Toney in and out of the lineup, Sterling Shepard in and out of the lineup. But we're talking about an offense that's just just can't get out of its own way. I don't know where we go from here, but the offense really needs to pick it up. They really got to help out and start carrying their weight. Saquon Barkley should be back off of the COVID list in that really bad ankle sprain that he suffered, you know, against the Cowboys, I think it was. So, you know, we'll see if he can get back and he can start to be productive. But I think it's the scheme around him that really needs to build. I think you got to find ways to get him the ball. I look at Kenny Galladay as another guy that has to get going in the second half, and he signed a big contract. And I hate to say he's getting paid all this money kind of deal, but he is. And you know, he hasn't really produced this year, and part of that's not his fault. You know, some of it's injury, but some of it's scheme too. So I think we got to get him going as well. Defensively, the New York Giants struggled a little bit early in the season to get stops, and then you know I think the first 3 or 4 games they were giving up points, but they weren't getting bludgeoned. I would say I really want to be careful because it wasn't as bad as we thought it could be. I think they were giving about just under 24 points a game in their first 4 games. And then the Rams and Cowboys happened. And that offense for the Rams, the offense for the Cowboys put up a 44 and a 38 point burger on them. And the offense, the defense, I mean, just really struggled in that game. And really, it just kind of got out of hand as the game went on. But since then, the Giants have yielded only about 13 points per game. Impressive defensive performances against the Panthers, against the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and against the Raiders with you know, a really good offense in Derek Carr. So the defense is making some plays, making some strides. I think the scheming has kind of been simplified. I think everything is really kind of predicated on the defensive line, and I think once they started getting going, the defense really started to respond. Leonard Williams has been a marvel since the Rams game, to be honest with you, and he's been playing at a really high level consistently for the last month and a half. The rookie Aziz Ojari, Quincy Roche, 2 defensive ends that you know we haven't seen anybody get pressure here in a couple of years off the edges. So they're doing their job. They've earned more playing time, and I really hope that they do solidify themselves in that defensive line. The linebacker position's kind of been up and down, mostly down with the injury to Blake Martinez, our defensive captain. Tay Crowder's come in and actually played pretty well, but you can see the defense still getting gashed on runs, not really making tackles in the second level. So that's something that they do need to cover up and work on. The secondary, missing Jabril Peppers, lost with the knee injury for the year, still has played pretty well. McKinney coming off of his best game as a pro. James Bradbury has really started to step up since his rocky start in the beginning of the season. Again, I think it was more scheme than him. I think he's a really good cornerback. Pro Bowler last year. I think the scheme kind of really exposed him, and when he was looking for help over the top, he wasn't getting it. Now he is. I think Adoree Jackson has kind of started to find his way after not playing a lot last year. He's starting to play some good football. Logan Ryan is a rock. He is just a smart football player that you need in that secondary. You know, the rookies didn't really shine too much. Now you got the secondary, I think, playing together as a unit. And really, like with Holmes and McKinney, like I mentioned, Love as well. I think they're all playing really well. But the coaching is up and down. Patrick Graham is really coaching the defense up, really coaching them well the last month. I'm looking at Jason Garrett just not getting the weapons involved. You got Saquon Barkley, yeah, don't just hand it off to him. I'm tired of him just running into the backs of linemen. You gotta scheme the running game a little bit better. Use misdirection, use motion, use jet motion to get the linebackers moving in a different direction and having him go the other way. You just have to. The offensive play calling is just not getting it done. You should be able to get the ball to your weapon. You should be able to get the ball to Kenny Galladay. and Kadarius Toney. It took him 3 weeks to figure out that we need to get Kadarius Toney involved in the offense. I mean, what are we doing here? So that's something that's got to change. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Kyle Rudolph. It hasn't even been mentioned much this year. The best weapon they have healthy right now is Evan Ingram. He's been in the end zone the last 2 games, but where was he before that? The offensive play calling is struggling, and Jason Garrett has got to step it up, or we got to ship him out. I'm sorry. Joe Judge, I mean, I feel like coaching-wise, he's taken a step back this year. The clock management, the mishandling of timeouts, etc., the undisciplined nature of the team at points in the season, you always killing them with penalties, killing themselves with mental mistakes, penalties, just situational football. It's a reflection on the coach. He's not preparing them the way he should. This is the guy that was fire and brimstone when he came in, kind of a Bill Belichick disciple with that kind of gruff attitude, and he's not backing up with how he's coaching his team. I said it. You got to give him credit. This was a 1-5 team that 2 out of our last 3 games they've won, and now they're starting to feel a little bit better about themselves. And give him credit for rallying the troops. Give Joe Judge credit. But he's got to do better. And, this team really needs him, especially with the injuries. They need the coaching staff to really put them in a position to win games. And I haven't seen that yet. So, going into Week 11, coming off the bye, a Monday night tilt against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is reeling a little bit, losing their last 2 games. A really surprising loss, especially after a bye, to the Washington football team. The recipe for them is to really get pressure up the middle, get pressure on Tom Brady, get him off his spot. Those are 2 teams, the Saints and the Washington football team, that can do that and have done that against them. The Giants need to take that blueprint and go after it. I think even though it's on the road, it's a game where I think the Bucs are going to be ready. They're going to be hungry, but they look like they've been sleepwalking a little bit, and you might be able to pick them off. These are games the Giants must win now. If they really want to get into the playoffs, they have to start winning these games. And it starts this week. So, like I said, it's kind of a burden because you want them to win because it's your team, but you also you need them to lose because you want change. You want Gettleman gone. You don't want him drafting their plays. Currently, they have the number 6 and 8 picks in the draft. You don't want him touching those picks. But you know what? If they start winning, what can you do? Take the good with the bad. So on to Week 11 with the New York Football Giants. And thank you guys for listening. It's been a pleasure listening to the Finger Foods here on the YouTube channel, exclusively on Sports City Chef's YouTube channel. Like I said, hit the like, comment, subscribe to get more content from us. I'm sure we'll have a lot more on the way. Shows all week. We have the NFL Free-For-All. We'll have the Caller's Cookout, and the Crossover Cafe is back. So be on the lookout for that. So like TP always says, tell a friend to tell a friend. This is Chefs again, and if they don't know, now you know.
Sports City, Chefs, Sports City, Chefs, yeah. Cabby, Taj.